Yo, yo, yo. Market vitals, the levels you need to triage the market. Yeah, HFR from the floor. Mistrade canceled. Still. I'm sure somebody's working on your behalf feverishly, Matt. Market Vitals is the show. MarketVitals.io is the community. And everybody waiting on jobs. Matt, we know that Amazon, how about Kramer's saying Amazon's got 1 million people, laying off 17,000 people isn't near enough. Now you got Kramer advocating for mass layoffs. Who had that in their bingo card?
Well, but to his credit, when you lay off people or start to or get towards the end of that, you get towards the bottom of stock price typically, right? But again, it's hard to compare this to any other cycle. Basically, we've talked about it. Like, you're just going back to COVID levels, right? So let's talk about this. Since you brought it. 82, we already talked about it. We've taken out the lows in Amazon already, right? And to me, it just looks like, I don't know if it can go lower, higher, what it can do from here, but this is not.
That's a pretty nice round tripper.
Yeah,
and I think you got to fractal out even more.
Yeah,
to have an idea of what the price potential is. It's
well,
amazing. Yeah. It's amazing to me, Matt, how many things now trade like commodities. Like everything trades like a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, wait a second, what do you mean fractal out? Well, now when you look at that, it tells a whole different story. Right. I mean, it looks to me like it at least should go fill the hole.
Yeah, it's going to have to get some real ugliness coming here, but yeah, at least fill the hole. Which takes you down to $51, which is still another, what is that, 60% off from here. So just because we went to the COVID lows doesn't mean we can't go lower. And again, this was not, the parabolicness happened. To your point, all the parabolicness happened because of COVID and all the fake money that came, 7 trillion that came rushing in from the government. That's why we have inflation. The stuff just doesn't go away overnight.
So Ayn Rand was right. It's not people that cause inflation. It's not oil companies that cause inflation.
Right.
It's not people gouging the system that cause inflation.
No, and it's not capitalism ever, right? Because if somebody's making money like Exxon, like Occidental, and somebody can do it better, they're going to come in. If there's fat to be taken out of it and profit to be put in your pocket, you're going to do it.
What's the first question is, we want to get into this business. Well, what's the margin? What kind of margin are they working on? Grocery store? I don't think so. They're working on a 2%.
Gas stations, not so interested, right? Biden even talking about gas station gouging. Well, yeah, maybe if you're dumb enough to buy your sugary soda at a gas station shop for $5 when you can buy a 12-pack of it for $3, that's your problem. You're dumb.
Matt, speaking of that, we're going to get to that.
I know.
But let me share. Great segue. Let me share. And these are just from my likes. And I wanted to say, we talked about this year how we're going to try, anyway, we're going to really try to be the light. Can we be the light? This from Steve Gleason. Live impossible. Steve says the full moon is today. I also was diagnosed with ALS 12 years ago, so I'm 9 years past my expiration date. It's been a year of growth, none of which would be possible without enormous amount of love and support around me. So grateful for my care and Team Gleason staff. And I got to read this. Obviously, Twitter doesn't have enough characters for him to put because this is just amazing. Let me read it. Let me take the time to read it and listen. After I was diagnosed, I knew I was one of the lucky ones. So I set the intention to find a way to live a fulfilling life and help others with ALS to do the same. We created Team Gleason, which has become the largest provider of technology and equipment for people and families living with ALS in the United States. This past year, has been pretty eventful. Early on, I told a few close friends, I planned for this to be my final year of this impossible life. They were understanding and told me to grow up. You imagine this guy's been battling ALS for 11 years and his friends are still giving him the tough love. Is that incredible compared to the life that you see people leading and nobody challenging them to be accountable and better? Right. I mean, this couldn't be more appropriate for what we see in today's society. They were understanding and told me to grow up. I took that to heart and set out to do just that, grow. Past 12 months have been a year of growth. I've grown to see all challenges as opportunities, either an opportunity for a solution or more likely an opportunity for self-transformation. I've grown to see that a path to mental freedom is to accept each moment as reality as it is and to dissolve the attachment, resistance, and judgment of the ego, self. Still have a lot of practice to do here. Again, a guy's been battling ALS for 12 years now, and he's still open to doing better.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
And victimhood is never a good model. I mean, I think whether it's Buddha, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Muhammad, right? I don't think anybody really was promoting victimhood
from those people. From those
people.
Exactly. I just wanted to read it, and then we're going to move on to some other price discovery. And let me find it. There it is. I got to share this for you because we're going to jump to two things from this, which is awesome. Because there are layoffs. We talked about it at the beginning, right? There are layoffs, and we looked at Amazon, but Goldman here. You can't make this shit up. Goldman Sachs yanks free coffee perk as layoffs loom. How do you take away coffee from your degenerate traders? I don't get that. That just blows me away. And
or your M&A analysts that you're keeping there on Saturday night.
Wait a second though. Let's look at the coffee chart. And we're going to look at Goldman because they're yanking coffee, and bring up the chart and tell me, wait a second, why are you yanking coffee? You bring it up. Bring up coffee. We haven't looked at it in a while.
Well, I'm going to bring up Goldman Sachs first because since they cut the coffee, nothing really happened. It sold off from yesterday's bounce. Down here,
pretty damn good channel, or not channel, but bracket that they're in right
just
now.
like the rest of the market. I mean, this is what I would expect to see, right? The SPOOs are in the same, 2-week, 3-week bracket now. The NASDAQ is in the same 3-week bracket. So this is what I would expect to see. Nothing's out of the ordinary. So when they all break lower or go higher, jump on. I mean, that's the only trade here. So when it gets above, this level, 352, you get long. If it, gets below 338, get short. Other than that, play the ping pong and get the paddles out. That's all we're doing here.
Right on.
So don't overthink a market that's not moving. Again, markets go up, markets go down, markets go sideways. Right now, we're going sideways.
All right, so here's what they can't afford anymore. A commodity that is how much off from the highs?
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about this, probably, the end of, the beginning part of last year, coffee got shot up there to 250, 262. Yeah. All the way down here today to 160. So, geez, I mean, that's a solid 60% off already. So that's not because coffee is costing more. It's just because we don't like you. We don't like you schmucks, and we're going to fire you next anyway. So you can quit over the free coffee, or you can wait for the possible parachute that we're going to give you.
I don't get it, Matt. There was a firm in Chicago back in the day, and I remember this story. They had free coffee, right, for the whole trading floor, and they did an audit year end, and it caught the guy's attention. It's like, wait a second, how can we be spending this much money on coffee? And it was in the tens of thousands of dollars in coffee because somebody was just stealing 80% of the coffee that was delivered and reselling it. So maybe that's going on at Goldman. Maybe they can't get to the bottom of it.
One thing I want to talk about, again, we talked about Amazon and how it could fall 60%. Again, right? Just to get to those levels on the longer term chart. I wanted to bring up one of everybody's favorite darlings, which was, again, Bed Bath and Beyond. You're my boy, Blue. And I mean, this thing was going to zero right when COVID started. It was $3.79. Think about that, $3.79. So even from that price, after all this craziness, it is half off. It's on its way back to zero.
Well, especially if you fractal out, Matt, and you look at that trajectory. I'm talking about from like 2010 to 2019.
Yeah,
I mean, it was going to this company was going out of business.
Yeah, it is going out of business. It will be out of business. You can buy everything from that offering, from Amazon. So if you're going to buy this stuff, you're just going to go to Amazon, or you're going to go to Wayfair, or you're going to go to all these other places that online have taken over your failed business. And it is a failed business. I mean, yeah, here's the 93. Again, everything has a life cycle. Some things, most stocks go to zero. Again, we talk about it all the time. You can at me all day at Miss Trade, but I don't exist.
Actually, you can't at me.
You can't at me. But I mean, this thing again, it came public in 93, 37 cents up to 80. If you were not smart enough to ring the register for 200x, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you. All right, let me get back to some sharing.
But think about that. It's half off the COVID low. So if you don't think Amazon can do that, why not? Why can't it?
All right, these are all from my likes, Matt. I thought this was cute. How does this apply in healthcare? Sometimes even if I stand in the middle of the room, no one acknowledges me. This is not by Bob Moran, by the way, and I don't know who it's from. And there was no link to why.
Yeah.
But the elephant in the room, it's amazing. McDonald's packaging to promote COVID vaccines. The irony of a food system that is by all measure terrible for you, and a pharma system that wants to help you with the terrible food. I mean, if you don't think that they might be in cahoots together, I think you might have a problem. And I did see also, Matt, that New Orleans has banned Coke in kids' meals. Now, I don't know exactly. I didn't really dive into it. I don't know if you go through McDonald's and order a Happy Meal, like you can't get a soda with that Happy Meal in New Orleans. I find it interesting that people are understanding that this is a complicated model on health, and what's not complicated, you would think, is that the food that you put in your system actually has an outcome driven. And we talked about the food pyramid the other day, right? Honey Nut Cheerios better than eggs. I mean, it couldn't be more upside down, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor.
And isn't it interesting again now that we're having egg problems? Like my son was in Trader Joe's in San Diego over the weekend, and he's like, I don't have any eggs. So Bridget,
yeah, I've been to the Albertsons here a couple weeks ago, had no eggs.
That's crazy. And so they're saying that the bird flu, right, is causing this. Well, maybe it's just the fact that if we get you back on diabetes or sugar water and Honey Nut Cheerios, we can promote diabetes medicine at $35 a month, a la Biden. Who gives a shit? Get on a better diet. Stop eating sugar for most people. I'm not saying some people aren't born with juvenile diabetes, right? It's a real thing. But the stuff that most people get is because they make poor choices in life. I mean,
because they have a McDiet.
I mean, it's just chips, pop, soda, whatever you want to call it. I mean, let's speak to the facts.
Let's look at Coke and McDonald's.
Sure.
Why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we? Yeah, McDonald's. I wanted to start right with the long-term chart, just to, since we love the long-term charts. And take a look at this one, Bob. You see that?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me get this. I got the wrong chart.
You got your Tasty up. Tasty.
This one.
Not a sponsor. Tasty Trade, not a sponsor.
Want
them to be a sponsor. Love to have
would love them to be, but
not a sponsor. Tasty
not a sponsor.
Trade.
Anyways, this thing, 2003, you could have picked up for $12. Today it's, 261, all-time high, 281. I mean, to me, this is a much better chart than Apple even, almost. So McDonald's, to your point, like this has been, and they pay a dividend. They pay a 2.3%. So at least you're getting something for holding the stock. It should be a lot more, I would imagine. But
I gotta tell you though, doesn't
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like I'd say short it, but it's hard to, and beyond more than a short-term trade.
well, especially too, it's like calories are gonna become. Did you see Cardi B? Cardi B, is that how you say her name?
Sure. No,
Cardi B's rant about inflation. Oh my God.
No,
It was fantastic. Actually, it was fantastic. But as you get squeezed, all of a sudden you start dollarizing calories, right?
Well, especially if you
calorie.
can't even buy eggs, which is probably the cheapest way to survive is buying eggs, right? I mean, it really is. You buy a couple dozen eggs and you can really live for, a couple weeks for $6. I mean, if that's all you have, you got protein.
And by the way, Matt, here in Bend, Oregon, if you are listening and are in the area, the natural grocers in Bend has always had since I've been going there over the past 5 or 6 years, a $2 dozen option. Like always, like almost always a $2 a dozen option.
Oh, I want to say before COVID, I was paying like $1.60 at Safeway, but I don't know what they are now. They're probably $2.60.
$4.60.
Are they?
$4.60. All right, let's go to Coke. Let's chop up a few lines, Matt, and get to the bottom.
With Prince Harry and his tell-all book. Like, how desperate are these Harry and Meghan Markle? How desperate are they to be the next Kim Kardashian and Kanye?
Do they have anything to sell yet? I mean, what are they selling?
They're selling their Netflix series, I guess. I mean, it's really insane, is what they are. Who cares? I'm sorry, Harry.
People care though, Matt. So they get to push it. People care. All right, Coke.
Anyways,
COVID low Coke.
KO has had a nice rally here from lows in October 54 all the way up to 64. That's a nice rally for this stock. Again, let's look at the long term just to pull back. It's been a ride. 200. This Coke is now worth about what Tesla is worth, which is hard to believe. Again, just the enterprise value of Coke is 268 billion, and Tesla is still worth more than this, even though not everybody buys a Tesla, but everybody has had a Coke in their life in the world. So I don't know. Again, expensive right now. Sugar water, cocaine water, whatever you want to call it, pays 2.8 dividend. I'd love to buy it down here in the high 30s, low 40s. But here, not so much. Not so much. Not saying I'm shorted either, but empty calories. You're not getting much there.
No, you certainly aren't. You certainly aren't. All right, Matt. What else do we got? Well,
do we have a Thursday night game tonight?
No. Saturday, Sunday, NFL. And something just popped these babies. Do we have a speaker?
I don't know.
The speaker of the news? I don't know why we just jumped.
I mean, we're not going anywhere. We
same price.
Still haven't taken out the midday highs and the SPOs. Again, good luck if you're intraday trading. You're just chopping yourself up because we're not going lower and we're not going higher. Again, as long as like 37.80 on a close holds on the SPOs, you just should be buying down here. So that's from here it's another 50 points. So you got 1%, 1.5%, 38.31 right now down to 37.80. You should be buying.
Well, then I will.
Okay.
Damn it.
And then if you got jobs tomorrow, you're going to spike and then do whatever, right?
I think let's talk a little bit about that because I just have no idea how to.
I don't know. I mean,
the market doesn't make much sense to begin with, and a good jobs number, is that bullish or is it bullish because the economy seems to still be humming no matter what the rates are, or is it bearish because they're going to continue with their pedal on rates? I mean,
that's why I frankly don't play those games, reindeer games. I just
Lee, what is the news out? Talk to me, Lee. Talk to me. COVID leader. This is Raven. Talk to me, Johnny. They're all dead, sir.
There we
Not
go.
Delmore Berry.
Now we're ripping.
Not Delmore Berry. Delmore made it out.
Look at that. We said to buy and we're up 12 points already since we said that. 38.31 up to 38.43, just like that. That's what
just like that. The
That's
power. The power is the solution.
if you think I had anything to do with that, you're a fool. It's just the structure of the market is such that you should be buying. Again, that's it. Nothing tricky there.
All right, yeah, I don't know. It seems like a news blip to me.
Well, but not really, because we just took out 3 hours of highs on the SPOOs. We went up to 38.45 there. So that feels real. We'll see if it stays real. It has not stayed real all day. Every time it's bumped, it's sold off. You really need it to get over like 38.55, and then you might have a run to 3900. We still have 2.5 hours, 2:45 left in the day. We've been trapped. This is like this is like a classic trap day. What do I mean by that? Well, we've just been kind of hanging. This is the third day in a row that we made new lows for the year again today. Here's the NASDAQ, but this is where we opened right here, right? We opened at the high of the day, basically 920, right? We went down to 820, only 100 points. So the market's only trading in a 100-point range. If you were long overnight, fine, but you're only down, and from the open right now, you're only down 35 points. So not much has happened.
Right.
Same thing in the SPOOs. We opened at the high of the day at 52 and we're at 44. So Tesla, look at that. Tesla has been leading us all day. It's been leading us since 750. It turned and that was, that was this area right in here around 8 o'clock. So that's already been going up for 2.5 hours. Like the exhaustion seems to be there. Bonds have been up all day. I would think the equities would follow the bonds, but it might take some time. The bonds reversed here too. So yeah, there obviously something hit there, Bob.
All right, man.
But I don't really worry about that. It's just the price action, right? That's all we care about. Give us the price action, love us.
Lee's saying that Bullard quote moved the market. A policy rate not yet restrictive, but will be soon.
Right.
Claiming that they know what's going to happen, like they have never done before.
Right.
But now they do. It's kind of like how about our boy Bill Maher?
What do you do now?
He full fuck you to the medical narratives.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah, it was fantastic. A fantastic little monologue. and that's what he said. It's like, now you want to mandate what we say and you've never been right before. That
Right.
Sounds like a great idea.
Cry wolf doesn't work. I mean, this is again, doesn't work. Cry wolf, mofos. Cry wolf.
All right. We got no more elephants here to talk about. That's it. I think that's it, Matt. That's the show.
Again, we did not talk about natural gas here, but little,
why don't we do that? Because we talked about that before coming in, and sometimes, especially in commodities, the leverage makes timing, like timing is everything. And you can get stopped out. And that's why they say typically in commodities, there's nothing wrong with getting stopped out 11 times. I mean, I think that was the metric when I first came into it. You can be 1 for 11 and make money in commodities.
Right.
As long as you keep those 11 losses small, because when it finally goes your way, it's going to go so huge that you're going to make money. And that's a hard thing for especially the human psyche to wrap their head around. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah, and I've just been kind of waiting myself for this 350 level because, again, this was a previous level, and that level is 355. And here you can see it. Like I pulled up a daily chart here, Bob. I mean, this is going way back, right? The way back machine.
The way back machine.
And the thing is, like, if you could pick it up at 3, like, great. I just, again, I think that this oversoldness, don't forget, we were $10 here in August. So we went from 10 to 360. I mean, that's 65% off sale, right? Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean it can't go lower. Doesn't mean it can't go to 3. But as long as 350 holds, if 350 goes, then you got to wait for 3. Again, these are the big levels. So now what I would do is, wait for some type of turn in the short-term charts. Would pick your poison. Do you like a 5 minute? Do you like I don't like a 1 minute. I don't trade ticks. So I would look for something in the 15-minute. And again, just in the 15-minute chart, December 13th, less than a month ago, we were double the price. Double the price. What's changed, Bob? Oh, winter's been canceled.
Well, that's our friend Leopold has said, and he even shared, that he got stopped out on his long, and I mean, you were talking about it on the way in. He's early. I mean, he's early. He's so anticipating.
Well, there's still nothing in this chart. I don't want to be selling it either, but there's nothing like you'll know. Like what you'll see is you'll get some type of turn up here that gets you over 420, and then you can buy it. It doesn't matter that you missed the 360 level, right? Let it show you when to buy, and at some point it's going to rally back to 5 or 550. It's just that's the bottom of the breakdown. That's where we broke down from 530. So the more we get below this, the greater it is for the snapback that's going to come. But just wait for it. Wait for a solid closing above, the price here. And again, otherwise, as long as you're buying down to 350 with the stop below, that's fine too. There's two ways to kind of play the trade right now.
Right on.
But if you close, we had more natural gas numbers, or they came out 3 hours ago. So, obviously the builds and crude and the builds and natural gas continue to be real. And let's just see what those numbers were, because I did not even look at them, but I know that number was out today. Yeah. Again, what do we have here? I don't even, they haven't even updated a briefing. So it says trading impact low on the crude, trading impact high. I don't, so there you go. Whatever that means. Price is all you need.
Exactly. Price is all you need.
Right.
All right. And again, Leopold, Heinrich Leopold saying that polar vortex looking like the collapse should be somewhere around the 20th of January. And then we get another winter, a winter to remember. Anything.
Yeah, so that's 2 weeks out from today. So I would imagine.
I mean, that's an eternity in commodity trading.
Yeah,
2 weeks. It's an eternity.
Well, and again, we've been going down pretty harshly. But I will also point out the last time that we rallied after a big sell-off like this. Think about this: 760 to 530. I mean, that was a 33% sell-off. From there, we went all the way back to 7. Then we took out these lows, and now we've doubled it. So we went 1919. So yeah, this is pretty much where we should stop, like right around 350. And then you got that 350 level. So, and this has been almost a month. I mean, this has been 15, 20 trading days already, including the holidays. Thin markets, really thin in here, as you can see, as they were selling them off. Now the volume's gotten back up, but again, this volume's not even what it was when we were here. So the market doesn't feel whole to me as far as participation still. And that's multiple markets, commodities included. Nothing feels like we're done with the holidays yet. And we're still in the 12 days of Christmas, by the way. So Merry Christmas.
You filthy animal. All right.
I celebrate the 12 days. So we still have a few more.
Right on. On the first Noel, Matt. Anyway, that's what we got. Please join us at marketvitals.io. Please go to amazon.com and help those that are still employed there by ordering some shrimp mojo. And do yourself a favor, cook someone a meal. That's what we need to do. Cook meals.
More meals.
More meals.
More meals on wheels.
Manja TV with another great share today. They're on fire over there at Manja TV because it is Thursday, right? But as a guy that spends a lot of time in the kitchen, right? Thursday is the day that you're thinking about, not only just thinking about, you're getting your weekend together food-wise, right? I mean, that's what you got to do.
Right.
And so Thursday, you plan, you go to the store. And Manja TV said, everybody's waiting on the weekend. A Friday night poker. Well, you got a nice poker game set up. Movie night, just pre-gaming. Add great food and make it epic. Thank you, Manja TV. Shrimp Mojo Tacos. Look at that handsome young man with a fantastic display of Shrimp Mojo tacos. Available at Amazon.com. And let me just tell you this, if you have a restaurant or a bar and you serve food, you couldn't do better than having that Shrimp Mojo as your house Cajun rub. So please, Amazon.com and buy some Shrimp Mojo and start giving people flavor kicks to the mouth. That's my restaurant. Like, it's only going to be men servers, right? And they're going to walk up like Tony Soprano. How would you like?
You want a flavor kick to the
How
mouth?
would you like a flavor kick to the mouth? Huh? You want to keep it up, wise guy?
Hey, wise guy. Joe Piscopo style.
Right. Sit down. Shut up. Shit like that. Anyway, that's what we got. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Mark. Hasta.